Welcome to another QuoteWerks 101, our regular series of short presentations, training sessions, giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of QuoteWerks. And this morning, I'm going to cover the links tab in QuoteWerks, a great way of sharing, supporting information with your sales quotations. Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot and my company Wizard Systems. We're a specialist CRM systems supplier who help small and mid-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable solutions like QuoteWerks. Now, this presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just really an overview of the links tab feature in QuoteWerks. There can be actually quite a lot to it when you get into templates and template design incorporated with QuoteWerks. But my company, Wizard Systems, we offer lots of help options. There's loads of help stuff in the online resources in QuoteWerks as well to explore this feature in a lot more detail. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got a question, please type that into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any QuoteWorks product news for you to keep you up to date. And this session is being recorded. After the call, you'll get an email from our system with a link to recording that you can play back whenever you want to. And it will be on our YouTube channel as well, where we've got lots of other QuoteWorks tutorials and hints and tips, and indeed videos on our other CRM topics. Just go up there. The YouTube channel is Wizard Systems. Okay, so let's get started. Just a brief mention about my company, Wizard Systems. We're a leading supplier of QuoteWerks, and we can provide any kind of help and guidance, as well as, of course, the product and upgrades and integrations to leading CRM systems. But we can provide also any kind of help and guidance and help desk support if you've got any question concerning QuoteWerks. Okay, so let's get into the links tab feature then in QuoteWerks. So I've prepared a quotation already, and what I'm going to be discussing on this call is this links tab here. This is a way of linking a document or resource. They're called linked resources, is the QuoteWerks terminology you'll see sometimes in the help files. Something that relates to this quotation. And these could be for your eyes only. It could be just internal information that you just want to share. Maybe you're working as a team. Other people are looking back at this quote and they want to see some kind of supporting information or estimates or whatever they might be. Or it could be information that you're wanting to share with the customer. So these documents here that we associate, that we link very easily with this quotation, this current quotation, they can be sent to the customer, or they can be accessible through the Quote Valet add-on. So let's do some simple ones first of all. So within this links tab, you've got some icons in the top right corner here. Well, there's a couple of main ones. There's adding in a particular file, and then associating or launching a template associated with that quotation. So let's do a fairly simple one first of all. So QuoteWorks has always had this add a file link. Then the web link was introduced, and then a folder link was introduced, fairly self-explanatory. So if I want to associate a file with this quotation, just click on this first item here. I will then go into Windows Explorer and I will locate a particular file, maybe this PDF file here, and click open, and then it will be linked to this quotation. Now this file is on my C drive, so you may want to have it copied to the more of a central area. Of course, QuoteWerks is a network application, and in your network QuoteWerks folder, there will be a subfolder called resources. So this is where it's going to actually normally put that file to be more easily shareable with your team. I'll just leave it where it is for the moment. So that goes in there. Now, you may want to give this is a fairly weird sort of a file name it's obviously taken it from the file name, but you can change the actual description, the title of this file, just by right-clicking over it, and using that right-hand mouse button can give you, from a little local menu here, can give you a lot of extra options. So I could edit that link, give it more of a meaningful description. So I'll call it customer requirements, for example. And there we are, it's been renamed. So we could also create a web link resource as well. You just put in the www bit or paste in from a URL from the address line, put that in there. And all of these resources, you can just double click on them. So if I just double click on this customer requirements, I will then launch that particular file very easily for me. So that's very easily adding in a linked document there or a web resource. The other option that you've got, the other capability you've got around the links tab is to create a file based on a template. And there are some examples that are given with the QuoteWerks system. So for example, there could be more of a proposal style layout that you may want to associate with this quote. Maybe your company does surveys of a customer site prior to doing a quotation. So here's an example of a statement of work. So typically, these are going to be document templates or an RTF file that's going to merge in selected information from the QuoteWerks application. They could be key items, main header items of the quote. There could be line item details as well, the actual physical details of the quote. So if I select statement of work here, I will be given a prompt to select the file name that I want to save this under. So I will put in here my file name. I can obviously choose the folder as well and choose whether I want to open it after saving. Click OK. This is going to launch this RTF file. Of course, RTF is just a very simple Word-like format that you'll find on most PCs. And you'll see here the syntax of the fields we're going to merge in from the QuoteWerks application. So you can see here the syntax, these little macros where we've got an ampersand, and there's DH and sold to company. DH stands for document header. It's just QuoteWerks language for where is that information going to come from. So a lot of these macros, a lot of these merge fields will be fairly logical. So that's going to slot in there in my RTF Word file against the client name. Is going to put in the sold to company, whatever I've selected on the sold to ship to tab. That's the company name that's going to go into that that little cell. So I just close down this file here. So that resource has been created. Again, if I click on the right-hand mouse button, you will see other options. I could email this directly from QuoteWerks to a colleague. Maybe I want to share this information with a colleague before I email it to the customer. I could copy the name to the clipboard again if I want to share it through a message or whatever. I can do that there, or open up the folder where that document is contained. Right. So that's the attaching. I'm in my quotation preparation mode. Maybe I've now completed my quotation. I fine-tune my pricing strategy. I then want to deliver. I then want to get the quote to the customer. So I click on the deliver button there, and this will obviously display the the range of quotation, the quotation layouts that are available for me. I'm highlighting the default one there, but again, we've got that links tab. This is where we can associate, or we can select or deselect the relevant files that we want to go along with the PDF quotation. So there they are there in the panel, in the sequence that they're going to be provided to the customer. You can also incidentally combine all of these separate PDFs and Word files into one single PDF as well. There's one option there for doing that. There are other ways of doing it also. We can change the sequence of these options, these files as well. Like just click on preview and we'll go to the particular preview of this quote. So this is an example layout, lots of different layouts that you can have for your quotations, of course, with QuoteWerks. So there's my proposal, the first few pages. The fourth page, that was that little PDF file I'd added to the quote, that first example, and then the statement of works, there it is there, with all of the merged information going into it. So a simple example there of the links tab in QuoteWerks. The other thing to be aware of, under your tools menu and options, how you decide the sequence of those documents being emailed or printed or accumulated into a single PDF. If you go into your options and the print button, this is where you will see there's that link resources. This is where we can adjust it up or down. And it's also, this is where we can define the literature defaults for your quotation, your default quotations as well. So that's it. The links tab in QuoteWerks, great way of associating more detailed information with this this particular quotation. Been in the product a long time, recently introduced the template feature. Great way of associating, supporting information with your sales quote. As I normally do, if you've got any questions around this feature, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel. Let me just see. Right, first question from Kristen. Kristen, what's the difference between the literature tab and the links tab? So the literature tab is more for sort of generic information that could go with the quotation. Maybe, for example, more information about your company, more information about your terms and conditions would be another typical example. So these are things that you might include with every single quotation that goes out. So general literature that's not specific to this quote. The links tab is a document or are documents that are associated just with this sales quotation. So that's the difference really between those two. Jim, is there a danger of the template being overwritten? Shouldn't be. Every time you do launch a new template, it will prompt you for a file name. If you've inadvertently chosen the same one that exists already, the system will warn you and you'll have to then select a new file name. So there should be no danger in any existing templates being overwritten. Question from Faye, can the web link be in the quote? That example I showed you, no, but there are many other ways of including a web resource in the quote. So against your products, if each product has a an entry on your web page, on your website, then you can reference that URL in the product information, and you can also insert the URL on the quotation layout. When you're designing your layout, you can actually put in that that little hyperlink in there as well. So that's the way of doing that. Obviously, if there's any main information, or obviously your company website, for example, yeah, they're just going to be clickable links on your PDF layout. But the one that I showed you just there, no, not that one. The one I showed you there is more for maybe internal sharing of information. Maybe there's some kind of resource you found on the customer's site or on some third-party site, just a way of sharing that web resource there. Okay, I don't think there's any more questions coming through. Thanks very much, all of you, for those. So just to keep up-to-date with news from Wizard Systems, we're still really in lockdown here in the UK. This presentation is of June 2020, so we're providing all our training right now online until we are active back in our training centre in Bristol, UK. So if you've got any requirements for any training, we're doing all that online right now. Please contact us for details. The latest build, which I was showing you there, is version 5.5, build 4.6. So you have these versions, and then within the version, you've got these different builds. So it's 4.06. And please contact us for more information on getting updates. You get updates for QuoteWerks via the Annual Upgrade Maintenance Program, or UMP for short. Contact us for details if you want to make sure you're on the latest versions. So that's it, me done. Please contact us if you've got any suggestions for future topics. There's loads to talk about with QuoteWerks. We want to make sure, particularly during this period, that we're helping you get the most out of QuoteWerks and giving you some training. So if you're working at a reduced capacity now or have furloughed staff, when we get back to proper business activity, you are being very efficient and productive with the QuoteWerks application. So we're here to help. Make sure you get the most out of it. If you've got any ideas for future QuoteWerks topics, please contact me, email me, tim@wizard-systems.com. There you see our YouTube channel, Wizard Systems. Do a search up there. You'll see loads and loads of previous videos over the years we've done around QuoteWerks and our other CRM solutions. Well, thanks very much for your time this morning. Hope it's been of interest to you. I'll let you get on, but thanks very much, and same time next week for another hopefully interesting QuoteWerks topic. Cheers. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.